Hello, 7th graders. Today we're going to learn about solving systems of equations using elimination. Okay, so we've already learned about solving linear systems by graphing and substitution. The last one is elimination. So the first step you might not always have to do, but it's to rewrite each question in standard form. That's this one right here, ax plus by equals c. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a moment. Basically what it means is we just want the variables on one side. The second one, also sometimes we can skip. We want to look and see if the x terms or the y terms have opposite values. If not, we need to multiply one of the equations or even both of the equations to make opposite values. We'll also talk about that shortly. Finally, we'll add the two equations together to eliminate one variable. And then we'll solve for the remaining variable and use substitution like we've already done. And one of the original equations to solve for the second variable. Finally, we can check our solution. So in this first example, step one is already taken care of. We see that ax plus by equals c form where our variables are all on one side. We can even see that they are lined up. Now, I already see opposites right here, so we don't have to move anything around, so we don't have to multiply anything. All we have to do is add these two equations. Those opposites are going to cancel out, and then when I take 3y plus 1y, I get 4y, and when I take 20 plus 4, I get 24. So when I solve for y, I get y equals 6. So I have my y. Now all that I have to do is plug that y into one of my equations and solve for x. So let's go ahead and plug it into that bottom one there. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my equation with that 6 plugged in. I get negative 2x plus 6 equals 4. And it's just a nice, easy two-step equation. Subtract 6 from both sides. And I get negative 2 equals negative 2x. Finally, I can divide by negative 2 on both sides. And I get x equals 1. So now I have both my x and my y, and I can finally write my solution as an ordered pair. So 1, 6. Now remember, the final step would be to check your answer. I'm not going to put this in the video for time's sake, but go ahead and do that yourself. All right, so for example 2, it's already in that standard form. So we just need to look for opposites now. I don't see any, so I need to create my own. I see a 2x, and an x. Well, in order to make that x the opposite of 2x, I need to multiply this whole entire equation by negative 2. So I'm multiplying the x by negative 2, the 5y by negative 2, and the 3 by negative 2. Every single term within the equation. So I wrote out my new equation for us. We now have negative 2x minus 10y equals negative 6 instead of that x plus 5y equals 3. So I'm also going to go ahead and bring that other equation down here. I have 2x plus 3y equals negative 1. Now these are lined up for us, and we can go ahead and add them. Well, that negative 2x and that 2x cancel out, and negative 10y plus 3y equals negative 7y, and negative 6 minus 1 or plus negative 1 gives me negative 7. And so the last step then is to divide by negative 7 on both sides, and I get y equals 1. Finally, I can go ahead and plug that 1 back into one of the equations. And so it's going to go in for y. I'm going to rewrite this again. I have x plus 5 times 1 equals 3. And 5 times 1, of course, is 5. So I'm left with x plus 5 equals 3. Subtract 5 from both sides. And I get x equals negative 2. Now I can write my solution as an ordered pair. Negative 2, 1. You can go ahead and skip example 3 for now. We're going to go over that one in class. Go ahead and try number 4 and 5 on your own. Pause the video and then come back and So for this one, you could either decide to cancel out the y's or the x's. Both of them require the same amount of work. But let's go ahead and cancel out the x's. So that means that I need to get -4 to be the opposite of 8, which would mean I need to multiply the whole entire equation by 2. So I'm going to multiply that 2 to the -4, to the -6y, and to the -20. So I get -8x minus 12y equals -40. Now remember, I just need to add the two equations together. So my 8x and my -8x cancel out, leaving me with that 2y and that -12y, or 2y plus -12y, which gives me -10y. And 40 minus 40 gives me 0. So finally, I'm going to divide by -10 on both sides, and I can see that any number, or 0 over any number, is just going to leave me with 0. So y equals 0. So finally, I'm just going to go ahead and plug 0 back into one of the original equations, and I get 8x plus 2 times 0 equals 40. The 2 times 0 equals 0, of course. So I'm left with 8x plus 0 equals 40, or just 8x equals 40. Divide by 8 on both sides, and I get x equals 5. So my ordered pair would be written as 5, 0. And that is my final solution. All right, just go ahead and check your answer for example 5. Look over the work, make sure yours matches up, and then we'll go about it in class.